Okay, so hello, my name is Hanna, and I will be talking about my project in Bolivia, which started in August 2019. On the 12th, I think I arrived to Bolivia. And yeah, my project was supposed to be for 6 months until the middle of February, but I prolonged it for 3 more months. So now it's until the middle of May. Yeah. Okay. So, and my project is in La Paz, which is the formal capital of Bolivia. Here on the map, you can see the map of Bolivia and where is La Paz. It's close to the border of Peru, close to the lake of Lago Titicaca. And yeah, La Paz is quite a special place because it's the highest capital city in the world. And yeah, Hanka has experience. And yeah, it's at the altitude of 3,600 meters above sea level. So you can imagine that it's really high, like comparing to Europe, it's higher than the mountains we have. And yeah, and actually, but the altitude changes. So some parts are around 3,200 until El Alto, which is another city, but it's kind of connected to La Paz, and El Alto is at 4,000 meters. Yeah, so that's the range of the city. And the population just of the city of La Paz is around 750,000. So yeah, the city is not that big, but the metropolitan area with the city of El Alto and some other towns, it's much more. It's now, I think it's up till 2 million because this data is few years older. So yeah, and it's getting bigger every year. The population is growing. Yeah, and there are more people coming as well. Yeah, so as I said, it's the highest capital city in the world. And all the ministries and government is here in La Paz, which also has quite a specific effect on the city because there are a lot of protests. Normally, I would say it's every day, even though now it's a bit different. But yeah, there is a lot of happening in La Paz, basically every day, which is also affecting the life here, the traffic, and all this kind of stuff. And also, what is interesting is that there is the largest urban cable car network in the world. So as you can see, here are some of my pictures. Here you can see the cable car system, which is basically the same as we in Europe know from the ski, what's the name? Like the ski lifts. Yeah, so it's actually, I think it's made in Switzerland. Yeah, so this is the cable car system. As you can see, the city is situated in a valley, and there are a lot of beautiful mountains around, which also has a very special atmosphere for the city. And also what La Paz is very, I would say, special of is the street art. As you can see, I just did one of the pictures, and this is a picture of a cholita. It's like this woman in the traditional clothes, which you actually can see every day on the street. They are from, in La Paz, they are from the Aymara indigenous group. And usually the women still wear the traditional clothes, even here in the city. And they are kind of a symbol of Bolivia now. They used to be, since they are indigenous, in the past they used to be kind of the lower class, just working at the homes of the richer population. Yeah, but now since they had the president Evo Morales, who was indigenous, their position in the society also got better. yeah, so it's like a symbol of La Paz is the cholita. And of not so, just only of La Paz, but of the whole Bolivia. Okay, so now I will talk a little bit about my project. So I am teaching English here, mostly, as all of you got it. And the center where I teach, it's called Centro de Información, Formación para Jóvenes. And these centers are provided by the city council or the city municipality. So yeah, it's like a public service basically, which is aimed to children and young people and youth in La Paz. And they have six centers in the whole La Paz, and I am teaching in 3 of them, which are all situated in different parts of the city. And normally I have classes in 2 centers every day. So I also have to commute quite a lot because yeah, it's just, they are located in different parts of the city. So it usually takes at least, I would say, up to 1 hour to get from one center to the other. Yeah, and they provide free classes in all different kinds of subjects, for example, mathematics, physics, then they have robotics, then of course dancing, singing, or also special classes like modeling or how to do your makeup, or also capoeira and this kind of stuff. And also, of course, languages. And now I'm the only English teacher there in all of the centers, basically. They don't have other English teachers. And for example, there are also other languages like Japanese or French. And I'm also the only foreign volunteer because all the classes are provided by volunteer teachers, but they are mostly local Bolivian students who in their free time want to yeah, share their knowledge, help the local kids. And here are some of the pictures. So this is from one center, this is from the other. In the first picture, that's with children. And the other is with like young people, like high school students that I had. And yeah, as you can see, we in my like classes for children, it's usually more, but actually it depends, and it also has been changing during the year. So it's like from 2 children until 20. 20 I had during the Christmas break. It was the most I had. And also with the young people, it depends. It's sometimes I have 2 until, let's say, 15. So yeah, it really depends. And yeah, so as you can see with the children, I mostly was doing some like fun activities, yeah, trying to engage them with doing some games and that kind of stuff. And here actually we are also playing with the youth, but with them it's more, I would say, like academic and conversational classes. Okay, this is one of the centers where I teach. It's called Pampahasi. That's the district where it is located. And it's the biggest center. So there, I'm not involved only in teaching English, but they also provide some environmental activities. They have a lot of ecological projects. So actually this picture, I'm not on this one with the children, but this is, yeah, like with some certificate they received, because behind them is a greenhouse that we were building, or actually, well, yeah, we were building in the center. And as you can see on this other picture, they are promoting the, I think it's called hydroponic growing. So yeah, it's like with the least resources possible in this kind of plastic bottles. Actually, it's really easy to make even at home. like with the least resources, with the least soil and water, we are growing some plants. Now it's just some herbs and some vegetables as well. And yeah, they try to engage the local kids, as you can see here on the picture. That was, I think, during the opening of the greenhouse. So yeah, they try to engage the local kids during the how do you call it? The collecting of the plants or the planting of the seeds, and just to yeah, show them a little bit of this environmental consciousness, because here it's not, yeah, it's quite different than in Europe, because yeah, also you can see just on the street there is a lot of litter and people, yeah, there's a lot of plastic garbage, of course, I guess that's everywhere. Yeah, so they try to provide this environmental education a little bit to the children, so hopefully it will change in some time. Okay, so, and this is this is kind of how my year was scheduled. So I started in September 2019, but actually I have to say that it was very slow start. Oops, sorry. It was a very slow start because since I am the first volunteer here on this kind of projects, even though ICYE Bolivia is quite established organization, and they have a few projects which have been running for years. Mine was the first one, and they basically had to, also it was changed, sorry. It was changed last minute. So I had a really slow start, and also there were not that many children enrolled in the courses. So yeah, it took a few weeks basically to start and the children to start coming as well. Yeah, but it went well. But then at the end of October, in November, the protest began here, which maybe you have heard about. It was because, well, it were in more Latin American countries, yeah, during this year. But here in Bolivia, it was because at the end of October there were elections, and Evo Morales, the former president, wanted to run for the president again for the fourth time. And yeah, some part of the population didn't want him to run, and then he kind of won the elections, even though it was, some people said that it was a fraud. And yeah, there were some strange things happening during the counting of the votes. So yeah, the protest started after that, basically after the elections, and they lasted for almost a month. And what it meant for me was that basically I was working very, how to say it? Like sometimes during the week I would maybe go to work for a day, sometimes not at all. Sometimes I wanted to go to work, but there was no possibility to go there because there was no traffic, or it was just too dangerous, or there were just protests on the street. So yeah, we couldn't get anywhere. And also it kind of got worse at the end of, no, I mean in the beginning of November, because everything was blocked, and there was no possibility to get food and gas into La Paz. So yeah, there was no traffic, and there was shortage of food. Also the food prices were going up, and it was very unpredictable because the situation was changing a lot, and also there were a lot of fights on the street. And one day that was, I think, the most critical moment is that when some people from El Alto were protesting, and they were coming down with dynamite and that kind of stuff. And yeah, our neighbors just told us, like, yeah, girls, just stay at home, but be prepared. Maybe they will come and like get into our houses and maybe they will try to steal something. So just take something for your protection. So the only thing we found were the pans for from the kitchen. So yeah, but in the end nothing happened, but it was very unpredictable and quite stressful, I must say. Yeah, so basically that was when for 1 month I wasn't working that much, just from time to time. Yeah, and then we had the summer vacations, which lasted from half of December to half of February. And that was for me actually the time where I had the most children in my classes, because since they didn't have school, they were spending a lot of time in the centers where I teach. Yeah, and since the February 2020, basically the new semester started. So that's also like a new cycle, yeah, with my classes, and there are other children started to come, and I had to change my schedule as well. And here I just added some pictures, which were, this is actually before the summer vacations, they were promoting it for the local, sorry. That's yeah, something. They were promoting the vacations and the classes for the local children, and of course they used me because I was the only foreign person. So the first picture, this one, it's from the local newspaper, and they also made a video with me. And yeah, for my classes. And the second one is from a local TV. Where we went to promote the classes, and yeah, so I was on a local TV as well. With this is my boss, and yeah, it's something like this morning show that we have in Slovakia as well. Okay, and in October, yeah, I had mobility visit, and Lenka was here. Yeah, so it was from the two organizations. It was from KERIC and from the Portuguese organization, which, yeah, I don't remember the name. So here, as you can see, this is me, Lenka, Rui from Portugal, and this is Sergio and Luciano from Bolivia, from the local ICYE. Yeah, and they were here from, I think, 10 days, right? And also Lenka and Rui, they came to my classes, and I just, yeah, they could see the centers where I teach. And I must say that for me it was very helpful, because it was at the beginning, and Lenka especially gave me a lot of good advice, which I then used a lot at my classes. Yeah, so, and I think it was also quite interesting for Bolivian ICYE that you guys were here, and yeah, you could also see how the Bolivian ICYE works. Yeah, so that was also during the project. Yeah, and then actually, because since I'm working as part of the centers which are run by the municipality, at the end of the year, we got recognition from the alcaldía, and yeah, these are all on the picture down there are all the volunteers who are working in these centers and are giving classes. Yeah, and so we basically got some certificates, and they thanked us all, and I think it was really nice gesture from the local from alcaldía, and also quite motivational, I think, for the people to continue the work. And yeah, I think it was really nice, and they were thanking me a lot that I came here, and yeah, it was really nice to hear that, actually. And yeah, these are the people who work for the alcaldía. Yeah, the guy on my left is my boss, basically, and yeah, these women also work with in these youth centers. Yeah, so this was at the end of the year in December, I think. Yeah, and this, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that many pictures because I lost my camera with everything like a month ago, and I didn't have a backup. yeah, so I just edit some pictures. This is like just for everyone. If anyone wants to come to Bolivia, I totally recommend it because it's really beautiful. The people are really nice. It's also quite affordable, I would say, comparing to some other countries here. And yeah, I just the thing I like most, I think, is the nature here, and also the people. Yeah, so just these are some pictures from my trips before the quarantine. The first one, that's from one mountain and lagoon, Pico, Austria. The second one is actually, it was just 2 weeks ago. We went to Huayna Potosí, which is a mountain of 6,088 meters, and we made it to the top. So I'm proud of myself that I made it. And yeah, this is Salar de Uyuni. Maybe you have heard about it. It's the salt flat, or kind of like the salt desert, which is also a really beautiful and unique place. And if you go there in the rainy season, which is our winter, basically, you can see this kind of mirror effect there because there is water. So it's really beautiful. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Okay, thanks a lot.